Afternoon, race fans, and welcome. It's race number 10 of 12, season 16, 124 laps. It's the Horseplay Therapy 190 here at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway, Atlanta, Georgia. Mile and a half, D-shaped oval. Unlike the rest, higher banking means higher speed. This race presented by author TM Lowe, and we're going to have so much more information about the Horseplay Therapy Center, today's race sponsor, later on, as well as we'll get a chance to talk with author TM Lowe, find out a little bit about the books that she's been putting out there into the world as well. And we should have 124 laps of amazing, exciting, high-speed action of IndyCars here at the track. So before we can race, of course, we must qualify. And again, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Trevor Greenfield. You're watching VirtualRacing.Network. So great to have you along with us as we get set for another fantastic chapter in the International IndyCar League Season 16, as we're getting very close to wrapping it up. So these drivers just now heading out onto the track, and we're going to go ahead and send it down trackside. See if we can find out where they will qualify for today's race. So as we take a look here, we can see that Richard Kelbaugh actually did not get in a complete qualifying lap there, and he's going to have to restart. Meantime, Mauro MJ Ramirez back out there on track in the 66 machine. Be one of the first cars to set a lap here today. We've also got Rick Lovison, Jason Lowe, Mike West, Dan Ensch. Now Dan Ensch going to the top of that order with his first lap. And MJ Ramirez very quickly puts it on top with a 23:35. Mike West now going second fastest. Take a look a little bit further back. This gentleman just starting out on his very first lap, Will Stearns, back in the cockpit this week. Gonna try to give it his all and see if he can get one of those elusive podium positions that has evaded him thus far this season, but shown great promise. He's qualified well, and he will continue with this lap. Will stay on board here as he tries to finish his second lap, and currently sitting sixth fastest, so he might be able to increase that. And he does not manage to... Oh, yes, he actually does. Took us a second for our timing and scoring to update there. Meanwhile, you see him sliding sideways. There's Ryan Bowles taking provisional pole position here. Second place so far going to Jason Lowe. And now we take a look over here. This is Dominic Harte. Actually, just as I say that, you can see that things are changing very quickly on the left-hand side on the timing pylon, as Richard Kelbaugh, Mr. Stick Quick, takes second position provisionally. Will he hold it? Well, still some very fast drivers to come. Dominic Harte, one of the stars here in the International IndyCar League, not quite able to top that time, so he'll have to start from at least fourth position. Perhaps might even be a little bit further back. Even the great David Strid not able to top the time set by Ryan Bowles and Richard Kelbaugh. So that is the end of his qualifying, and several new drivers in the field today. Not brand new, but Matty Simpson going to be hopefully taking the start today. He's lined up, although he did not qualify. Jasper Van Linden, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Let me know if I did. Send us a note over in Discord or on Facebook or something and let me know. But hey, Jasper, great to have you in the field, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see you out there today. Manuel Gomez Esteban also set to get out there and get a race in today. We wait for some of these drivers and see if maybe somebody is going to head out there and try and get their final qualifying effort in. But about a minute to go here until we get into the race. And qualifying just finishing up. Matty Simpson, David Worrell also, and Iñigo Mardones sitting there on pit lane and deciding not quite yet, not gonna go try to actually get a qualifying effort in. And of course, that is their prerogative, because you don't actually have to qualify. There's a lot of drafting that you can do here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and So therefore, hey, you can just sit in the back and wait for everyone else to crash and take up a whole bunch of positions, and hopefully you end up in victory circle at the end. So just waiting out the end of this session here before we call it official, and then we'll be able to give you the final results and get set for today's race here at the iRacing Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, this is the new Atlanta Motor Speedway, and might as well go ahead and read you some of our notes here, coming in from, of course, our good friend Dan Ensch, one of the great racers here in the International IndyCar League, and he's letting us know today we're going to be seeing about 32 to 39 laps. 40 is possible, but Atlanta's new banking, which was set for the NASCAR vehicles, wants to throw you around on exit transition and will cause problems with the IndyCar at speed. Apron is equally very touchy, so these drivers are going to be facing some real difficulty out there today, just trying to keep that car on track. So does look like we have gone official, and we'll go ahead and get that final results up there on the screen for you. So here is how they will get started today, as they'll go ahead and grid up for today's race. So I'll go ahead and walk you through the Horseplay Therapy starting grid. Starting from pole position, once we can get our graphics to go there, is Ryan Bowles. First time on pole position this season, and it is something to look forward to, because Ryan is one of those drivers that certainly can take victory here in the league. Second place and outside pole for none other than Mr. Stick Quick, Richard Kelbaugh. I'm sure there are a lot of eyebrows raised at that, but nevertheless, congratulations to him, and we'll look forward to seeing if he can convert that into one of those elusive podium positions. He's certainly been in the top 5 enough times. I think it's time to see him up there in the podium. Perhaps today is his day. Starting on the second row, David Strid out of Australia, and he'll be our lone Australian entrant, unless we actually get Matty Simpson out there, because Graham Bunyan will be sitting out today's race. Jason Lowe setting on the second row there. Looks like he got, Richard Kelbaugh got kind of left behind there a little bit. He'll need to catch up. But Jason Lowe going to be starting outside second row. Dominic Harte on the third row next to Dan Ensch for that Alzheimer's Association and ALZ campaign over at Last Lap Motorsports. Will Stearns and Mike West going to be completing the fourth row. Fifth row going to Mauro, MJ Ramirez, and Rick Lovison. That's actually a good qualifying effort there from Rick. And then we've got Matty Simpson and Manuel Gomez Esteban. Bringing up the second to last row will be Iñigo Mardones and our newcomer, Jesper Van Linden. And finally, David Worrell will take the start, hopefully today, although I'm seeing that Jesper Van Linden and David Worrell are actually still sitting on pit road, or perhaps will not take today's start. So 13 entrants it does look like for today, 124 laps. It should be exciting. There's a lot of drafting, a lot of side-by-side racing, and a lot of high-speed action. So buckle your seatbelts and get ready. Get your popcorn and your favorite beverage in hand. We're about to get underway as Ryan Bowles takes us to the green flag. Oh, we're seeing an incident. We're seeing an incident a little bit further back. We appear to have a driver off. That's Dominic Harte, and we're already under our first caution. Something has taken place just after the green flag was thrown, so let's see if we can go ahead and back it up. This is Jason Lowe. We'll see about Dominic Harte. So let's take a look maybe from overhead, and we can take a look at what took place here. Looks like they're kind of still gridding up here at this moment. And we'll march it forward a little bit. This is going a little bit too early, so see if we can find out exactly where things went wrong here for Dominic Harte, who was shown off track just a moment ago. And coming to the green flag, it looks like he doesn't get a good start and he spins. And there you can see Will Stearns and he making contact. It looks like just a 2-car incident, but a lot of cars slowing down. So that will actually give us a chance to go over our current points situation. And then at our next commercial break, we'll be able to talk about the Horseplay Therapy Center, which we're, of course, very excited to do. So Bowles continues to lead here, but let's go ahead and get you that information that you crave. And that is the Season 16 point standings. Now, of course, last week, it was David Strid who took victory, and that was pretty amazing in Las Vegas. However, it was over his rival, Graham Bunyan, who is not in today's race, and perhaps not in the rest of the season. Making a personal decision that he's going to be sitting it out, and we await to see whether or not he will return to the cockpit. However, he does slip down to second place in the championship, and David Strid, with now a sizable margin, albeit one that can be overcome by Jason Lowe. However, Jason is going to really need to clean up his act. And we also show that Ryan Bowles has just made a pit stop. So, perhaps deciding to take a little bit of extra fuel, not really sure, but making that decision, and a very interesting one to give up the lead. Perhaps just deciding, hey, I wanted that bonus point there. As you can see, Bowles well down in the order in the championship, and the one bonus point for leading a lap is not really going to help him overall, but valuable nonetheless. So perhaps he's going to slot back into the field and try and regroup here. But certainly, thank you to all of you joining us over on YouTube. Great to have you with us. And we've got Tiffany Lowe checking in with us. That's author TM Lowe over there. Boys, we're really flying fast around slick Atlanta during practice yesterday. You bet. Iñigo Mardones saying hello. Dominic Harte, good luck all. Have a great race. Certainly. I'm actually noticing that I think what's happening here behind the scenes is there has been some sort of a scoring glitch that is happening at the moment. So they're straightening that out because Ryan Bowles is currently shown ahead of the rest of the field. And so they're going to need to straighten that out, certainly. But we wait for that to happen here. And in the meantime, let's check back in over on YouTube. Once again, feel free to say hello and let us know, yeah, where you're watching from, who you're rooting on. And, you know, if you want to get involved with the International IndyCar League and you'd like to race, well, it's real simple. You just head down to the link in the description, click on over to iRacing, let them know. You'll probably be interfacing with Jason Lowe, the admin, and then get you out there for qualifying and get you out there for a test session on Saturday with the rest of the group. Make sure that you got a good handle on that IndyCar. But either way, Dominic Harte saying good luck all, have a good race. With the way that temps were yesterday, I think tire wear will be key as opposed to fuel. So, I mean, you heard it from him, and he certainly knows what he's talking about. Well, Bowles back in the lead. I have no idea what that timing scoring glitch was all about. I think Bowles did try to take try to go through the pits and get that to clear, but it didn't quite work. Either way, everybody back on the same lap. And we look back into the field. There's Mike West diving to the inside of Dan Ensch. So move West up into that third spot. And so far, West gaining 5 positions. That is good news to all of the Washingtonians out there, because, of course, West from Yakima, Washington. Matty Simpson is in the field. In fact, he did take the start, so he just started at the back. Great to have him back in the race, the number 3 car there. We've seen him do quite well here in the past. Back up at the front, though, it is Ryan Bowles and David Strid just behind. As we're now completing lap 6, the cars head onto the backstretch. So you can see Strid now has caught the back of Ryan Bowles is on board with Bowles. Let's take a look from Strid's point of view. He's going to hang out on the high side, manage that arrow push that comes off of the car in front. My goodness, he comes down to the inside of Ryan Bowles. He's going to try to take the lead. Side by side, they go through turn 3 and turn 4. Ryan Bowles on the outside tries to hold the lead, but he can't. We have a new leader in Atlanta. It's David Strid. Strid, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the winner last week. He's won 4 races this season. He looks to add to his total. This is perhaps the championship season that David has been waiting for. You see him there in that, I want to say it's like robin's egg blue, but bright light blue Ganassi, Chip Ganassi Racing liveried car. And of course, that's one of the other cool news information. I don't even want to cut away from this. It's so exciting with how close these cars are racing. There's Mike West up into the mix now. He's going to look to the inside on Ryan Bowles. No good. What's the weather like out there, you say? Well, 105 degrees Fahrenheit on the track, and that's pretty warm. So tire degradation will in fact play a role here today. We'll have to see how many laps these drivers can get through before it starts playing too big of a role. But David Strid doing what he needs to do to try to take this championship. He's already gotten a bonus point for leading a lap. In the meantime, back looking at this battle going on between Mike West. It's just something else to watch these cars at speed. I love these onboard cameras. ...230 miles per hour headed into turn 3. The cars exit turn 4, scrub a little bit of speed and regain their traction. Here comes Mike West with a sizable run. He's going to have to try to position the car well to take this position if he wants it on the backstretch, but he has to back out there. So these cars well now over 235 miles per hour headed into turn 3. This is some sensational high-speed action at a track that these cars will never visit again in real life for exactly this reason, but thank goodness we can do so here in the safety of our own homes on iRacing. So lap number 15 of 124. David Strid has led most of them, but Ryan Bowles shared his at the beginning, giving up that position back to Strid, who's now gained 2 spots from where he started. Bowles hanging on tight there to second. Mike West back in 3rd position, and once again, you don't have to look very far back to find Matty Simpson. Matty, a frequent of iRacing official racing, and just occasionally can swing in and do a one-off race or two here in the league. So great to have him here. And, you know, it's been a little bit of contention as far as the road course racers stepping in and maybe having a one-off race, and whether that's something that's good for the league or not good for the league. But it's always exciting to see a new racer step in, or somebody who's done well in the past. And Matty, one of those drivers who has been up there in the front. He's led races, and he's been on the podium, so you can perhaps see him being there again today. How about this guy, Dan Ensch? He's still hanging on to a top spot in the championship. Right now, 5th place, up 1 spot so far. And, of course, I read you the notes from Dan earlier, and if anybody's going to know how to play the fuel card today, it'll be Dan. Meantime, we got some more action happening just up in front. Let's take a look. It's Mike West. He's still working on that 2nd position of Ryan Bowles, but Matty Simpson slowly starting to climb up to the back of West. Oh, you can hear someone against the wall. I'm not sure if that was contact, but it Sure sounded like it to me. It could have been Ryan Bowles or Mike West. And now you can see the field starting to close together a little bit further back. There's Jason Lowe in the pink pig making his way around. Dan Ensch. Ensch kind of settling in back there. He had to back out a little bit, and I think that's going to allow possibly MJ Ramirez to get by. MJ drifts low, drifts high, tries to look for a spot. Can't do it. Continue to try to find a way around. Back on board, though. Let's take a look next to the visor. You can see what it really looks like. That helmet bouncing around, being buffeted by the wind. 230 plus miles per hour here. Try to get a run on that car up in front. Unable to do so, but he's going to try to hang tight along that apex red line down there. Some good stuff up here in Atlanta. 23 laps done. Sorry, working on lap number 23 here of 124, and here's Matty Simpson. He's taking a look to the inside of Ryan Bowles, and he'll take that position. That's Matty Simpson, up 8 positions so far, and here comes Jason Lowe. Jason Lowe now looks on with Kirby. Can we call it Kirby the Pink Pig? I don't know. But looks on with Kirby. Kirby's trying to find a way through. And so back to my point I was trying to make a little while ago as we watch this action unfold on screen. So the point is, we relaxed our broadcasting livery rules here on VirtualRacing.Network. It wasn't very long ago that iRacing put out their broadcasting paint policy and their broadcasting policy, and they said no commercial logos of any sort, etc. Well, it's been a lot of water under the bridge. A lot of broadcasts have been done, and we just want to make sure that we say we don't speak for iRacing, but we do speak for VirtualRacing.Network, and therefore all former liveries of any Indy cars or real-life race cars will be accepted. That's why David Strigg can run his car, Matty Simpson can run, and others can run because they have approval for those logos, or they are former or current real-life race cars. So because their marketing teams have approved it, then we approve it. And yep, that's as simple as it goes for VirtualRacing.Network. So if you have any questions as far as the policy, feel free to check in the Discord or check on the Facebook group. We posted a little bit of clarification there. But good luck to all you drivers out there. And that's also a reason why we were able to see, as you see, oh, Matty Simpson into the wall. Scraping along the wall there, just coming out of 4th place. And I do wonder if that isn't what Dan Ensch was kind of trying to warn us about, how the cars might get a little upset exiting the corners. Certainly as these tires start to degrade, that might be a serious factor here today. So it looks like Matty able to recover there, but you don't have to look very far back for some more action. This is a 3-way battle here. Will Stearns, Rick Lovison, and Iñigo Mardones. These drivers, Lovison has had some good runs here in the league and perhaps is going to be able to make his way back up there. But I don't know if today is his day necessarily to do that. We'll have to wait it out and see how this fuel strategy goes. Meantime, Dominic Harte just behind, now taking a look to the inside. And I think one of the things that you've got to watch for here is with this tire degradation that's going on, and now we've got Ryan Bowles into the pits. So choosing to pit quite early compared to everyone else, but 30 laps in, and he'll send it down pit road. Well, yeah, so one of the things you want to watch for here as David Strid appears to start to walk off a little bit into the distance. is you don't want to lose that draft, and that's already happening as Strid has now gotten a 1.5 second lead over second place Mike West. So West now having another great race, and once again, Mike West, one of those drivers that he's won here in the league before. Here comes David Strid down, and Jason Lowe as well. So Dan's an initial thought of 32 laps on the low side is certainly coming true right now for all of these drivers that have been running by themselves. But we'll wait to see if any of these other drivers, and here comes Mike West into the pits as well. Let's watch this pit entry. And there he goes. He's able to get down to speed safely. I believe it's a 50 mile per hour speed limit here on pit lane. So gets down to speed appropriately from the lead. Manuel Gomez Esteban also into the pits. Racing with that beautiful new Mazinger Super Mango paint job there. And he'll get it stopped. And the crew will attend to him, though it doesn't show on our screen. It's one of those little things that iRacing doesn't quite simulate for everybody. But if you were in the cockpit and you were, say, Manuel Gomez Esteban, well, then you'd be able to watch that whole pit crew go right around you and do all that service. So it's kind of a little bit more thrilling if you're in the cockpit. But look who's in the lead. Well, it's the driver that was, you know, kind of in the mid-pack and just biding his time. Oh, and look, it's Dan Ensch as well. It's Mauro Ramirez, Dan Ensch, and Iñigo Mardones who have now taken over this lead. So Mauro Ramirez now drops onto pit lane, and Dan Ensch continues around. I think Dan, though, his last lap time was a 24.05. So very likely he's giving up time. We can see a 29.6 second gap to David Strid. So as he now makes his way onto pit lane, he's probably going to be overtaken by about 6 or 7 seconds as Strid makes his way around. And just to make it easy to track, let's go ahead and put the track map up there on the right-hand side. You'll see where all of your favorite drivers are, represented by their initials. Once again, we are looking for David Strid to come around and take over the lead from Dan Ensch here on lap number, what are we hitting now? 39. So now David Strid back into the lead. Dan Ensch is exiting the pits. As he heads out, he's now slipped to fourth. So Jason Lowe in second, Mike West in third, Mauro Ramirez in fourth, and now Dan Ensch will try to get up to speed and hang on to that fifth position. But David Strid already pulling a 4-second lead after that round of pit stops. And, you know, the question was asked over in chat, what happened to Graham? Well, again, I'm not going to go into that. It's a personal decision. I can just say that I think we can all recall that he did have surgery earlier this year, and he's been recovering from that. And in addition, there's been, you know, some incidents last race that gave him time to think about things. So he just wants to take a little bit of time off, maybe consider it, and perhaps we will see him back here next race or in a race very soon. But we certainly love the fact that Graham has been a massive contributor to the International IndyCar League each and every week, along with David Strid. Strid providing all of the setups in general, working overtime to try to make sure that the racers all have exactly what they need to put on a quality race out here. And Bunyan, of course, 5 consecutive championships, but that's not all. He's won many, many more. In the earlier seasons, which was under a different administration, and therefore we don't really talk about them too much. But he won several championships earlier in the history when it was back called the U.S. IndyCar League, which was only a season ago, but it seems like forever. And so Graham Bunyan not only doing that, but he set up the Discord channel that we currently use. So thanks to him. And of course, he's set up much more in terms of he's got a great relationship with his teammates and his unofficial teammates in the way of Mike West, David Strid, Matty Simpson, one of their friends, and a number of others that occasionally pop in for races. So still going to be a part of that. I do understand he'll be there to help them and give them a little bit of feedback, but it's tough going there as we see a little bit of a internet glitch for Mike West, who is either having an internet thing himself or perhaps iRacing just temporarily glitching out. But yeah, it's a shame to not have the 5-time consecutive champ and the guy that's second place in the championship out there running. But I do have to call attention to what this man has done. And in the past several seasons, David Strid has been right there in the championship. You know, 1, 2, or well, not first, but second or third. He's held first at various points in the championship. He's taken victory, sure. He's taken pole positions. But David Strid has not taken that first championship yet. And this season, he's now in the lead. Really, his only closest competitor would be Jason Lowe. And of course, you don't have to look that far back to see that Jason Lowe there in the Kirby car is still tracking with David Strid. So this is anything but over in this championship. But Strid looking to take the championship and keep that championship for the Australians. And it's kind of a point of pride if you're racing in something like the International IndyCar League, where you've got a nice mix of different nationalities. In fact, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just in today's race alone. Jasper Van Linden, I'm not exactly sure. It says he's from Benelux club, but I don't know exactly what country he is. And it's great to have him part of the field. Unfortunately, I thought he would be taking to the track today, but he did not. So Strid leading here on lap number 50. And Jason Lowe currently running second. Mike West in third. West up 5 spots today. Mauro MJ Ramirez in 4th place. You saw Dominic Harte there, currently a lap down. Here's Dan Ensch in 5th place, up a spot so far. Of course, he's on that alternate fuel strategy, so we'll see how that plays out today. Still quite a ways to go. And we'll look forward to sometime around lap, I believe lap 60, we'll get a chance. We're going to pull in Tiffany Lowe, that's TM Lowe, and we'll get a chance to talk about today's race sponsor, which is the Horseplay Therapy Center, and the great things that they do for kids and veterans, and it's really exciting. You know, if you know me, you know that I love to spread awareness for anybody who is helping those that are suffering, and certainly this is quite a unique one to have them come out to a horse ranch and get to experience that, most likely for their first time. So pit stop just being done, or no, in fact, a small disconnection, and it looks like he has hit the wall. Matty Simpson into the wall, but he manages to get it down onto pit lane. And so Matty manages to avoid complete disaster there, getting down into the pits and saving the car, and also not bringing out a yellow flag, which we do certainly appreciate, though we would love the cover so that we could do our commercial break. But either way, we'll be going on lap 60 so that we can find out about Horseplay and get a chance to talk to TM Lowe. But exciting stuff so far. This has been an interesting race, and it is literally flying by here as David Strid took over the lead from Ryan Bowles. Bowles, unfortunately, now shown a lap down. And so far, the superstars have been, I mean, if I have to say, it's probably been Jason Lowe and Mike West and MJ Ramirez, all three of them, Lowe up a couple of spots, and it's key for him to be in that top spot. Now, David Strid did do a pretty amazing thing to take over that lead and pass Bowles, but Lowe has made his way through some incident at the start and now finds himself in second place. So Lowe fighting the good fight for himself, trying to stay in that championship hunt. And then you've got Mike West back here. In fact, if we take a look here, you can see a little bit more about in the green and red there how many spots they've gained or lost. See if we can get it a little bit better. There we go. A little bit more cars out there on that graphic over there, but you can see a little bit more about these drivers, and that's showing you relative to where Mike West is currently positioned. So you can see the drivers that are in front and the drivers that are behind, and also what their gap is. But we do see that, ooh, there's MJ Ramirez having to take some evasive action around Ryan Bowles. And we also see that Dan Ensch has just made his way into the pits, but it looks like he's got some damage. Let's go back a lap and see if we can check in here. This is a replay, and there's Dan Ensch into the wall. And, oh my goodness, so that brought him down onto pit lane, and he was able to get it into the pits eventually, but he had to go down the entire back straightaway. So they're back live. Ensch just making his way out of the pits, and my goodness me, that will cost him so much. I think that's going to send him down 2 full laps now, and that is unfortunate for one of the favorites in the field who was playing that fuel card. So the race currently, David Strid up by 4 seconds over Jason Lowe. Lowe kind of holding that gap at the moment, and we'll watch to see how it goes. MJ Ramirez currently running in third, Mike West in fourth, Will Stearns, there he is. Stearns in fifth. So good to see him back in the cockpit, and good to see him getting in a good race for himself. Sad to, he's been sidelined a little bit with some health issues, but either way, he's back and he's underway and he's passing cars and perhaps going to get a top 5 here today. You never know. There he goes around the outside of Ryan Bowles, who's a lap down. And you can see David Strid there just getting by lap car of Dan Ensch. Strid's going to take it down into the pits. And, well, we're going to go ahead and get a chance to talk with none other than Tiffany Lowe here. I do see that she is muted, so if she can join me. Hey, Tiffany, you got a read on me?
I got you loud and clear, Trevor.
There she is. Great to have you with us here today. So great to talk to you, and appreciate you setting up all this to join us. So cool. First of all, let's talk about today's race sponsor, the Horseplay Therapy Center. And, you know, I was just reading online about what they do. It's to help kids and the kids who have special needs, and also veterans who have been suffering from PTSD and other things related to their service. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about them before we show the preview video.
Yeah, absolutely. So a form of therapy a lot of folks I don't think are familiar with, because it is very unique. It's called hippotherapy, and what it does is we use horses and put the kids on horseback, and what that does is, both from a physical sense, the movement of a horse and the way that your hips move and the way that you have to hold the core of your body, you know, upright, really works a lot of muscles that don't normally get worked. So folks that have any sort of physical disabilities or challenges, it really kind of helps to loosen them up. Exercise, you know, if they have trouble walking, that's almost like simulating walking. And there's always, we got volunteers that are on either side of the horse, so the children are secure. They're not going to fall off. They'll do different types of speech therapy. Like they'll try and get kids like throw a little basketball from horseback into a hoop, or get them to name colors, or a lot of the kids that get a benefit from this are, they have autism, or they have neurodivergent processes that maybe, they don't speak a lot, or they have trouble with it, but you put them on a horse and there's just almost like that mental and emotional bond between an animal and a kid. And you'll really see the kids light up. They might start speaking for the first time because they want to talk to their horse friend, versus having been quiet around people. And just recently, they opened up a division to help veterans as well, because some of the parents or the grandparents that were coming out had served and suffer from PTSD or other issues like that. And they noticed they kind of gravitated towards the barn with the horses, with grooming them, paying them, talking to them. So they recently launched a veterans program as well to basically just it's an animal therapy, but a lot of folks are not exposed to it or aware of it, because you'll see someone walking their therapy dog around, but don't really hear about someone getting therapy on horseback.
Absolutely. And you don't, and what an amazing set of therapy that they do that is unlike really anything I've heard of, but it makes so much sense. You're so passionate about it, you could definitely be a spokesman for them, for sure, spokeswoman for them. So let's go ahead and take a look here at a video, as we're now under caution for that spin by Will Stearns. Let's go ahead and watch a video, and we'll get a chance to hear directly from them a little bit more and see a little bit more about what they do.
At Horseplay Therapy, we use physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy to treat our kids that have Down syndrome, that have cerebral palsy, they have genetic disorders, they have autism, but no matter how they come, we want them to leave changed.
So after Iana joined the Horseplay, she started having a better communication. She can laugh, she can look at us directly, she can express her emotions rather than stomping. And she wouldn't do this, and even though at her age 4, she is now doing a lot of what normal children are expected out to do.
You do see a much more verbalization from the children, who are very shy and quiet.
What? On! It's Lobo!
I have just been amazed within a short period of time. I remember the first 3 months I was here. One child learned all her colors and was able to start communicating in sign language to us, and just in 3 months, such a change.
The parents get so excited about every little bit of progress.
It's a connection with other parents that have children with disabilities, to be able to share what they go through and not feel like they're being like, that they know that they have support out here with another mother who's going through the same thing.
This has been just great for us, for our family, for our interaction. We've gained a lot of friends, we have gained a lot of people that we know.
Vicky, I admire Vicky. She treats us all with utmost respect, takes our needs in.
She is just a great therapist. She has a great team of therapists. We have a great team of volunteers.
Your donations today will help us to provide therapy for the kids who come to see us who otherwise couldn't get this kind of therapy. A $25 donation will pay for 1 session of therapy for a child, and a $100 donation will cover a whole month of therapy for a child.
This is my happy place. When I get angry or upset, I always tell Mama to come here. And this is also Mommy's happy place.
That's a perfect setting. It's outside. I love to hear the kids laughing. I like to see them smile.
Our kids and families are motivated to come to Horseplay Therapy because of the transformation that they see. At Horseplay Therapy, we use...
And what an awesome facility. As we're back under green here, and Mauro MJ Ramirez takes the green flag on lap number 73. We do have author TM Lowe with us here to talk, and we'll continue to watch this action on the track as we talk with her. Tiffany, it was great to get a chance to see that, but you were telling me as we were off the air there that you actually are headed there today to help take care of some of the animals there and get involved. And of course, that's what this is all about, is getting involved, whether you're one of those who are going to go there for the therapy, or you're related to somebody who needs the therapy, or you just want to help out and be part of the program and help the behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually what's funny is I was first introduced to hippotherapy way back in college many moons ago. I went to Jacksonville University. There was a hippotherapy barn, much like Horseplay is, called Horse Sense and Sensitivity. And I volunteered over there as a college student, getting my volunteer hours, and I've always liked horses, and that's what introduced me to actually helping with the kids and being a sidewalker. And then just when I graduated, started working, and just kind of moved, got away from all that. And then when I found out Horseplay Therapy Center does the same thing, and it's literally a 10-minute drive from my house, right next door to our vet. It was just
Matt.
It was just a natural choice to reach out about volunteering. So I don't get to volunteer with the kids too much anymore because that's during work hours, and I do have the day job. But I do go in every other Sunday, and this afternoon, I'll be going in at 4 o'clock Eastern to go take care of the horses. So we feed them, we turn them out to pasture to get their legs stretched, scoop the poop out of their barn, put the hay bags up for in the morning, and all that good stuff. Keeping the horses happy so they can keep the kids and veterans happy.
Oh, there you go. Everybody's got to be happy at the end of the day, and certainly if you get around some of these beautiful animals, beautiful horses, everything seems to sort of float away, and you get a chance to actually play and have a great time and do a little bit of healing. And so I know it's healing for you, and it's healing for the kids, it's healing for the veterans and the families, and it's wonderful that you would share that with us today. And thank you so much for your sponsoring of today's race and presenting it for the Horseplay Therapy Center. And anybody who's going to be around St. Augustine, Florida, or wants to get involved, certainly head on over to horseplaytherapy.org and make your contribution today. Make a donation, certainly, but get involved and see what they do. Much more information there. And once again, thank you very much for that. Now, in other news, of course, you are an author, and we did put a link down in the description of this video over to your books over on Amazon. Quickly tell us a little bit. If I was just somebody out there didn't know anything about the kind of books that you write, what do you like to write, and what's your newest book that they can go take a look at?
Well, I work a lot on short stories. It's a field where it's a short story, but still, of course, takes a while for an author to actually, write and edit and put out. But in the day and age, everyone's pretty busy. Folks don't always necessarily have time to devote to a huge novel. So the short story anthology scene's kind of been popping lately. And so for the past several years, I've been working with several other authors in a group called Dragon Script, and what we do is we'll put together science fiction and fantasy short stories. We get together virtually, because one of them's in California, one of them's in Ohio. We all virtually, through the wonders of the internet, are able to get together, share documents, help edit each other's works, and we have put out 2 short story anthologies so far, and we're always usually working on a next one. So New Beginnings was our first anthology we put out together. And I have a science fiction story and a fantasy story in that one. And then New Adventures was our second short story anthology. And again, I had a little sci-fi story and a fantasy story in that one. And we'll be working on, I'm sure, a new short story anthology soon, because you don't ever break for too long.
Well, I can certainly understand the quality writing that you're doing and getting your works out there. I know that your fans are anxious to see when you're going to be releasing new books and things, and certainly heading over to Amazon.com, get a chance to read some of those short stories. And I agree, it's a short we don't have much time to read stuff, so, you know, little 10, 20, 30, 40 page stories are perfect for my attention span. I'm sure for everyone else. It's been a pleasure having you with us here today, Tiffany. And again, the links are in the description to head on over to horseplaytherapy.org and to Amazon to check out TM Lowe. Anybody else that you want to thank before we go back to the race coverage here today?
I just want to thank my husband, who is in the middle of racing right now, for giving me the chance to actually be a sponsor for this race and to get the word out about Horseplay. Even if you're not local to St. Augustine, if your heart is moved, you can still go to their page and make a donation. It goes to care for the horses, and it also goes to help any of the kids or the veterans who might not financially be able to afford treatment. They don't want to turn anyone away, so there's basically kind of like almost like a scholarship fund of the donated monies to help everyone who needs that therapy to get it and not have to be turned away.
That is wonderful and great news. Definitely make your donation and, you know, sponsor someone as well. Get lots more information. Thank you so much for being with us, Tiffany, and we'll look forward to checking out more of your stories online and finding out more about Horseplay next time. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you for having me, Trevor.
So that was author TM Lowe checking in with us and bringing our awareness to a really great cause. Of course, what a amazing thing to be able to heal anybody, but certainly being able to work with those who are most in need, and those with special needs, those that are returning back from service and have seen some things, have been in some places that they really can't talk about with anybody, and they just need some time to heal and a way to do that. Well, I always love to raise awareness that way as well. And of course, next week be a very special race, the mental health one, I believe 180 or 190. But we're going to be talking about mental health next week. I promise not to make it too difficult to listen to. But it is a time for healing, and that's just one of the examples. The mind and body are connected. We store energy from traumas in the past in our bodies, and certainly those who are living with certain types of physical conditions can really have that sort of body held energy that gets stuck, and it has to be released. And there's certain ways to do that through movement, as Tiffany was saying, and then also through other means. But you know, it has to be done so that you can heal. And so we'll be talking a little bit more about that kind of stuff next week, but it's a great chance for us to talk about horseplay therapy this week. So back to it though. David Strid, as you saw, was in a battle there for a little bit with Jason Lowe. Now Lowe sitting a little bit further back, and now Lowe bringing it into the pits. So smoking his tires as he heads onto pit road. Lap number 94 of 124. And he will take his final service of the day. That'll mean he has 30 laps to go on the final stint. In the meantime, David Strid out in the lead. Mauro, MJ Ramirez in second place. Strid now heads down to pit lane. So difficult. It's just so fast to get down there. We can see Mauro Ramirez also on pit lane. A number of these cars coming down pit lane at the moment. Iñigo Mardones, Mike West. And that will give Rick Lovison perhaps the lead. No, it's going to be a while till he can get back around. But currently Rick Lovison shown in third place, which means that we get a great chance to go close up on this awesome looking car, which we always comment on, the number 9 there for the Berkshire Lakeside Lodge. And tell you what, up in Massachusetts, every time I'm looking at that car, it's got the, it's got the orange leaves on it, just like you want to go seeing up there in the New England area this time of year. Oh, Rick, you can feel free to send me that freebie lodge stay, and I will find a way to get there, my friend. That looks beautiful. But back to it though, Manuel Gomez Esteban up into second place before his final pit stop of the day. David Strid will retake the lead. He's currently shown in third place. And we're just waiting for him to come back around after these drivers make their pit stop, Rick Lovison and Manuel Gomez-Esteban. But always fun to get up there and get up into the mix if you're one of these other drivers. It doesn't matter how you get there, whether it's, you know, with strategy or passing everybody or just taking a chance that you're at the right place at the right time. As you see Rick Lovison getting onto pit lane and not quite nailing it. Unfortunate for Mr. Rick, as he did spin entering the pit lane and clipping the nose as he lays across the track on pit entry. This will unfortunately heavily cost him. And that's really, I mean, if I look over all of the races that we've covered here on VirtualRacing.Network, that has been one of the biggest factors that we have seen. And we also are hearing that Manuel Gomez-Esteban has crashed. He has indeed, and that will bring out our next caution. So Gomez-Esteban also having difficulty entering the pits. Let's take a look and see. He's already sideways entering the pits there, making contact with the inside wall. And that car is now not worth nearly as much as it was before. No longer a complete Dallara IR-18 car, and we'll have to take it back into the pits and get that one serviced. But David Strid, he had opened up a little bit of a gap on Jason Lowe after that round of pit stops. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, because Lowe really doesn't have anything to lose, but I'm not sure that he has the pace to stay with Strid. I think maybe his only chance would be to get up there and take that position and try and keep David Strid at bay. Now, that's easier said than done, because, of course, Strid, having taken multiple wins this season, well, he pretty much knows how to make passes and how to retake positions. But currently first, David Strid. Second, Jason Lowe. Third, Mauro Ramirez. Fourth would be Iñigo Mardones, who's just come into the pits. Fifth, Manuel Gomez-Esteban still, who's actually returned back out to the track. Here's Dominic Harte. And I think Esteban is shown a lap down, so that just tells you kind of the tumultuous pace by David Strid thus far, and the difficulties suffered by a few of these drivers. But Harte is going to rejoin in 6th place. Dan Ensch in 7th place. Both of those, actually, Ensch down 2 laps, and Esteban and Harte down 1 lap at the moment. But back to it. It's just 24 laps remaining, and we should be getting this one going again. Not sure if it'll be next time by, but the very next time by. And we've already done all of our commercial breaks, so that's been completed. And just trying to give you some more information than I have. But either way, we're going to recap here and set for the last 24 laps of this race. Now, of course, I also do want to give a nice long segment so you can just hear the race cars themselves, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned by your the volume knob on your good old-fashioned television set. You can crank it up and just listen to the song of these Dallara IR-18 IndyCars. But Bowles is going to make a pit stop. Why not? Get some fresh tires and fuel, and he's quite a few laps down, so won't be in the position to really pass too many cars. But Mike West also shown there on pit lane. I'm not sure if Mike is... Yeah, it looks like Mike is done. I don't think he's going to rejoin this race. So Strid, Lowe, Mauro, Ramirez, Iñigo Mardones, the top 4 that are currently on the lead lap. And then in 5th place, a lap down, is Dominic Harte, followed by Manuel Gomez-Esteban, Dan Ensch, Rick Lovison, Ryan Bowles, Mike West, who appears to still be sitting on pit lane. I believe we've also lost Will Stearns, Matty Simpson, and Rick Kelbaugh from today's race. Rick Kelbaugh going out on lap 2. So it's basically a 4-car race here, but we've got 23 laps for it to play out. How will it play out? Well, we'll find out who can manage their tires here. And if I was Iñigo Mardones, I might have just snuck in for some freshies, some fresh Firestones, just to see, but who knows? I don't think he did. Here we go. This is the view from Mardones. He gets a very slow start. And you can see up ahead, here's Mauro Ramirez in 3rd place. Jason Lowe in 2nd. Lowe is going to have to try to get that pass done if he's going to try to control the front of this race. MJ looks to the inside of Lowe, but he had to back out. Lowe looks to the high side, can't get it done. He's now going to really try it on the high side. Jason Lowe giving it a shot. Will he be able to do it? There he goes around the high side. He's trying to hold the car on the high side, but he cannot take the position. David Strid will continue in the lead, and we'll see whether or not Jason Lowe can manage to claim that position back. But Lowe Racing, of course, out of that St. Augustine, Florida, where today's race sponsor, the Horseplay Therapy Center, is located. We just have 20 laps remaining for Lowe to try to get this one done, and we have another yellow flag. It's Ryan Bowles, who has had a moment. We're gonna have to go back and check this one out, as it looks like he's already parked it there. He's already in the wall, so see if we can see what happened. Comes off the corner a little high, and that throws him into the outside wall across the track. And far less pieces on that car than when it was starting from pole position. It seems like it was just that so close. It was not that long ago when Ryan was up there racing in the lead group, but unfortunately, that will cost him here today as well. And therefore, Jason Lowe will get one more shot at it. Now, here is a smart driver here. Mauro Ramirez knows that he is not going to lose a lap. So therefore, he is going to go ahead and take fresh fuel and tires. Probably doesn't need any fuel, but he'll take tires. Now, another thing to consider is, should these other drivers decide to come in, that would give Dominic Harte a chance to get a lap back. And so they will not most likely all pit, and Harte will stay that lap down. But this will be interesting to see whether those fresh tires will play a role in the end of this race. 18 laps to go, and we'll see whether or not we go green this time by. But we are under our 4th caution here at the virtual iRacing Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm Trevor Greenfield. You're watching VirtualRacing.Network's live ongoing coverage of the International IndyCar League. This is season 16, race number 10 from Atlanta, the Horseplay Therapy 190, presented by author T.M. Lowe. And for those of you just joining us, or those of you who have not been watching previously, shame on you. No shame. Good for you. Good for you joining us. Thank you. We appreciate it. Make sure to give us a big thumbs up over there. Hit the big like button. We appreciate it. And also, you can tap the big subscribe button. It looks, I don't know how it looks anymore. It used to be big and red. Now I think it's like white with a black outline or something. But it should say subscribe. And that is your key to get all of the future International IndyCar League races for season 16. Notifications delivered right to you in your browser via your email, so you can't miss out. Speaking of which, also, you won't want to miss out if you are into virtual racing and you'd like to get involved with either the International IndyCar League as a driver or as a sponsor, or further involved here with VirtualRacing.Network as a sponsor. Either way, if you'd like to send sponsorship inquiries over to US IndyCar League, you can do that through the link in the description, which will take you to the league page, or you can send those sponsorship inquiries, certainly for VirtualRacing.Network, you're welcome to send them over to myself, VRN at VirtualRacing.Network.com. No, not .com, .network. That's it. No .coms, no .nets, no .orgs, or any of those things. Just VirtualRacing.Network. So send us an email, and we'll get back to you, and you can be a part of the show. But if you're a driver, you want to get involved with the league, it's not too late. You can come on out and race, and certainly start thinking about Season 17 and mounting your assault on the championship. Well, you're going to have to go through David Strid, but go ahead and click down on that link in the description, and you'll get your chance. Here he is, David Strid. Can he do it again 2 weeks in a row? We'll find out. So we're back under green here with just 16 laps remaining. Nope, 18 laps remaining here at Atlanta. So will Lowe be able to make the pass? He's taken a look a couple of times. He's said hello. He's gotten side by side and waved hello to David Strid, but he's gonna have to do something a little bit more special here to take that lead position from David Strid, that's for sure. So as these drivers now make their way around here, now just 14 laps to go. So I guess it was 16 before. A very small preview window. Sometimes a little difficult to see those numbers. But David Strid currently leading. Jason Lowe in second as they now head into turn 3. And that's Iñigo Mardones, who's come up to challenge in third. Mauro Ramirez actually having to come down into the pits. Not sure what took place there, but he is going to have to stop in the pits. And we do see that Dan Ensch possibly also had a problem there, but we're not going to break away. And it looks like, has David Strid made contact with a lap car? I am not sure. We have a yellow flag, though. Dan Ensch. I'm not sure if that was caused by Dan Ensch. We were just flashing through the cars. So let's take a look back. First, we're going to take a look at this incident, which came right after the green flag dropped. This is Dan Ensch. It's very slow to get that start, and there he just comes down onto the apron, and of course that spins the car around. Manages to collect it before it hits the wall. And then he continues. And from that point, he did not come into the pits. So now this was a moment later when he's rejoining the track, and he comes out right in front of race leader David Strid. So, my goodness, let's just back that up and take a look from the chopper. I'm not sure what caught out Dan. Normally he's Mr. On Board, Mr. Aware, but it looks like there's definitely, a bunch of netcode contact there. So for those of you that are kind of new to sim racing, yes, it is happening from around the world, and these drivers are quite, geographically located far away. You can see that Dan was actually several feet away from David Strid, but I'm not sure if that actually hit David. It certainly ruined, it says Jason Lowe, but that's actually Dan Ensch. So let's take a look here. Do we see any damage on Strid's machine? And I don't see any. So it looks like the netcode perhaps only affected Dan Ensch. I don't see any scrapes on the front left wing on David Strid's car, which could indicate that there was a little bit of damage, but not enough to pull off the wing. So I don't think Strid was actually affected, and that's a good thing because we wouldn't want to see the end of this race affected by, a driver exiting the pits and accidentally hitting the leader. But certainly, I would imagine something perhaps going wrong with Dan Ensch's car. But either way, glad to see that the leaders are able to continue. Now, Iñigo Mardones pulling it down into the pits, 11 laps to go, and I think he's just going to try to get that same advantage that MJ Ramirez tried to pull out. MJ on track, but currently 2 laps down, and still not really sure exactly what happened to cause MJ to have to come back down into the pits, but possibly we could take a look here. Let's see if we can tell. This was green flag, and then he came down into the pits. Yeah, he came down into the pits, perhaps to serve a penalty. We'll just go back to the live picture there, because he wasn't coming in with damage. So that means he probably had to serve some sort of a penalty, or he would have been black flagged. And so he elected to do so rather than take that black flag. But we've got 10 laps to go. As soon as they go green, we are going to give you 5 solid laps without Trevor Greenfield's voice, and you'll get a chance to hear these beautiful cars head around this amazing facility. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned by your volume knob. You get a chance to hear us crank it up here on VirtualRacing.Network. I'm sorry, that's probably been trademarked. So you could turn it up. That's probably not been trademarked. Or you could virtual race it up. How about that? I don't know. David Strid gets underway. Let's hear these cars roar here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, there it is. 4 laps remaining, and it is as tight as ever. David Strid and Jason Lowe just separated by 0.3 of a second, but it might as well be an entire football field or more, because it seems like Jason Lowe is struggling to find a way to get by, and I'm not sure if he's going to try the old over-under here, but we're going to wait to find out. He tries to drift to the high side, and he can't quite get there. His chances remaining are slimming. 3 laps remaining, working on the end of that. 3 laps to go here, soon to be 2 laps to go as David Strid looks to cross that start-finish line. Just 2 remaining for David Strid and Jason Lowe. Iñigo Mardones hanging on to 3rd back here. And with MJ Ramirez dropping back, he's the last one on the lead lap. Mardones up 10 spots today. So perhaps we'll get a chance to talk with him if he can complete this. But 1 lap to go. Barney the flag man there waves the white flag, and Jason Lowe takes another look on the high side. Is he going to be able to do it on the final lap? Side by side, they go down the backstretch. Jason Lowe says hello from the high side, but he can't do it. He'll pull in low. He tries the low side. He tries the high side. Jason Lowe. Does he take the victory? No. 4/1000ths of a second separating them. But it is, in fact, David Strid who takes victory once again here in the International IndyCar League. Oh my goodness me. Well, while we cool down a little bit and wait for these drivers pull it in off the track, that was some sensational stuff there. We're going to look to see Jason Lowe and David Strid celebrating on the track, and then hopefully popping into our Horseplay Therapy victory lane for some discussion. What a race, and congratulations to today's winner, David Strid. You see him there on the screen, and this one's gone official, so let's go ahead and bring it up. He'll celebrate today's victory. David Strid taking the win here for the Horseplay Therapy 190 presented by TM Lowe. Second place going to Jason Lowe. And I know that he wanted to take that victory, but it sure must feel good to take second place and keep your championship hopes alive, especially with the likes of the Speed Demon, David Strid, in front of you. Third place going to Iñigo Mardones, who put in a heck of a race today, finishing 6 seconds back, but still taking a podium position and bringing the Necky Racing team, one of the prominent racing teams on iRacing service in the IndyCar leagues, bringing them up there for podium position today. Congratulations to him and to them. That makes 3 different nationalities in the top 3 and 4 different in the top 4. If you look at Dominic Harte, who managed to overcome some adversity there. You hear David Strid popping his engine. But overcame some great adversity today, and he got up into that 4th spot. It's not normally where you'd look for Harte to finish. He's got that capability to take 1, 2, or 3, but Harte coming back here, getting 4th place, and good for him. 5th going to Mauro MJ Ramirez, who was up there with a possible chance at a podium, but had to bring it back in for a late race pit stop, and he'll take 5th place. Manuel Gomez Esteban, another solid finish. He's one of those drivers that, I mean, even though, you know, he did finish 9 laps back, he still survived long enough to get that 6th place finish, so congratulations to him. Dan Ensch having issues parking that car. Rick Lovison, Ryan Bowles, Mike West, Will Stearns, Matty Simpson, Richard Kelbaugh, and I don't believe Jasper Van Linden or David Worrell got an actual start today. So, let's go ahead and see if we can find any of the drivers. None popping in so far to our IndyCar Discord, but we just wait for them a little bit. And in the meantime, this will do wonders for David Strid's championships hopes. And certainly, you know, I'm looking in and I saw that the great Graham Bunyan checked in. Go get him, Iñigo. And yeah, Dan came up the pits, definitely. But, you know, maybe it was the great Graham Bunyan who checked in and gave Iñigo the extra little bit of luck that he needed to get that 3rd place. Either way, great to have the champ checking in with us. And certainly we look forward to getting a chance to talk with none other than our 2nd place finisher. Hey, there he is. It's Mr. Jason Lowe. Hey, Jason, you got a copy on me?
Yeah, Trevor, loud and clear.
Hey, man. Wow, that was sensational. I mean, you tried and 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 you couldn't quite get it. I thought you were going to maybe get David Strid there at the end. Talk us through your race today and tell us a little bit about what it was like fighting your way up there into that 2nd spot.
Well, the repave Atlanta, it drives like you're at Daytona now. It's a 1.5 mile super speedway now. I mean, we were running 242 miles an hour down the backstretch. 22-second laps during practice. It's just mind-blowing. I had a penalty from last week's race, so I did have to start at the tail of the field. was pretty careful early on. I wanted to see how people were going to manage. The cars got tight pretty quickly. They were chewing up the right front pretty good, and you could do a couple things about that. There's your in-car adjustments, and then you could lift at the entry a little bit and try not to plow the right front so much to save it for later in the run. That was the strategy I took, was to be a little slower early on and then have a little more car at the end of the run. It seemed to be working for me. David Strid was absolutely crushing me leaving the pits under green flag. I mean, he pulled like 2 seconds one time and pulled like 4 seconds another time. I was just being too careful leaving the pits because it's so treacherous at Atlanta. I mean, it is, to me, probably the sketchiest pit road exit that we run on. And so then toward the end, I was fortunate to be one of the lead lap cars. The way the cautions fell, I could have got trapped. I just didn't. And then it was just me trying to get around Mr. Strid, and I gave him absolutely everything I had, but he got the win, and well-deservingly so. And congratulations to him. And also on Iñigo for getting third.
Absolutely. Yeah, he looked, from here, it didn't look like anybody had anything on him. What did you think as far as if you were going to make that pass for the win? Because we've talked about this before. Hey, you're not so concerned about the championship picture. Wink, wink, right? Okay, but you're just out there for the race win today. What did you think you needed to do to get that race win if you were going to get it? Was there a strategy you had in mind?
Well, the strategy was try to get the perfect run, and I didn't. And the only other way I was going to win was to move him. And I'm not going to move David Strid out of the way for a win. I don't move anybody out of the way for a win. But I couldn't make the outside work by myself. And he held the correct line. He drove very smart, as he always does. And so I knew I was going to make it look good at the end, but I didn't think I was going to get around him, and I didn't. Absolutely.
And, well, still, 4/100ths of a second, the final margin of victory there. You were there, and maybe with another breath of air or perhaps another car to draft behind, you might have been able to take that position. But still, you're second in the championship. This is going to extend David's lead by a little bit, but you still have a chance here with the last couple of races remaining to perhaps get up there and challenge him for that top spot in the championships. Any thoughts heading into our last couple of races of the season here?
Well, I've had some success at Milwaukee before, as far as I was fast and I led some laps. Ultimately, toward the end, I think I had a problem the last time I ran there. I didn't win. But I don't feel unconfident about Milwaukee. And, of course, Indy is one of my favorite tracks. It's really a chessboard in Indy. Set yourself up. And I've had some success there. And so has David, and so has Howard. And, I mean, we got a couple handfuls of guys who have run really well at Indy, so that's going to be a really interesting race. And, David hasn't been a series champion yet, even though he certainly drives like one. So if I do end up coming in second or third to him in the championship, however it works out, I can still hang my head up high and know that a good driver beat me.
Absolutely. And as you said, he's one of those drivers, takes victories, takes poles. It's kind of shocking that he has not taken championship yet, but this now looks like it's potentially going to be his season if you don't give him a good run for it. Either way, all the fans out there can check right here, VirtualRacing.Network. Next week, same time, same channel, and we'll be there for the Mental Health 180. And should be a fun one at Milwaukee. Not a lot of passing, not a lot of drafting and side-by-side action, but when it happens, it will be special. And anybody you want to thank before we move on?
I'd like to thank my wife, Tiffany. I know this was her race today to promote the horseplay. I think it's really cool she did that. It was her idea. Give a shout out to my dog, Jaeger. He injured his eye pretty severely this past week. And it's gonna be a touch and go whether or not he gets to keep the eye, unfortunately. But he's got a good attitude about it. We're keeping him medicated, and we're using his eye drops on him, hoping the eye's going to heal. And so I have been thinking about him the past few days and taking care of him the best I can. So unfortunate. Haven't had a lot of good luck with the pets lately, but we're doing all we can for him. And I got a thought for him. And of course, I love my wife, Tiffany. And thanks to all the people listening.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jason, for checking in with us. And You gave a great race today. Your wife's presenting sponsor of the race, and she's a fabulous author, getting a chance to tell everybody about what's going on with her in the Horseplay Therapy Center. And of course, you taking second place. A lot of low to go around today, and it's been great having you. Congratulations. We'll see you next week at Milwaukee, bud.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you very much.
So that was Jason Lowe here in the Horseplay Therapy Victory Circle. I don't know that we're going to get a chance to chat with Mr. David Stridd. He's kind of the shy guy. But congratulations to him taking victory. And once again, thank you to our race sponsor, author TM Lowe, and the Horseplay Therapy Center. Of course, the links are down in the description. Make your donation today to the Horseplay Therapy Center, doing great things down in St. Augustine, Florida. As I mentioned, be sure to stay tuned for next week. It's Milwaukee, one of the most classic IndyCar tracks of all time. And usually it was presented right after Indy. This season, it's right before Indy. So we get that juju back together again. Should be a lot of fun next week. Make sure to stay tuned. Same time, same channel, right here. Subscribe, like this video for more. On behalf of all of the competitors here in the International IndyCar League, myself, Trevor Greenfield, and the VirtualRacing.Network, so great to have you with us. Make sure to join us next week and have a wonderful rest of your week. Until next time, bye-bye, everybody.